Hi, Kadam. I think the live stream is about to be started, and we have recording also. We are starting.
Yep, you are like,
Thank you, Prem. What about the recording of the session? Are we? I don't see the recording on. Thank you. Now our recording is in progress, and we welcome everybody from India or wherever in the globe they are. Harsh is from US, and maybe some other folks joining us. Um, So the speaker today is Ellen, and most of you know him. If you do not know him, we'll put his LinkedIn ID in the group so that those of you who want to network with him, join him. He's a great person to know. He's an awesome teacher. He teaches all over Malaysia. He does a lot of corporate trainings, and we are grateful to him to deliver all these seminars to us pretty much every weekend. So if you do not know him, please join Ellen. He also has a YouTube channel that you may want to watch, and he'll put that in the chat box as well. So without any further, my name is Arun. Those of you who want to contact me, just write @Arun. Pretty much in any group wherever you are, we'll find you. The message will reach me one way or the other. Having said that, let's over to Ellen.
hi
Also,
everyone.
guys, if you do not know Prem Sai, it's a good idea to know him. His LinkedIn ID is pretty much in every single invite. Also, Sanjay Chandra. These guys are doing a lot of these are very heavy contributors of COE. So over to Ellen. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Arun. Hi, everyone. Namaste. Good day, everyone. So let's get started. So, hi, everyone. So today's COE session. So COE is Center of Expertise, where we share valuable content, pro bono content to everyone. And interesting part is whereby we share portfolios. So you are not just learning on how to use Power BI or how to use Excel, but you are learning the job scope. You learn things on how the management see and the stakeholders sees. So, my dear friends, good day, everyone. So, if you can hear me, just type number one in the chat box. And if you can see my screen, please type number two in the chat box. Okay, because this one I'm doing online, so I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So, what you're looking at is I got shared a file in the chat box. You can refer later. So, this file contains a variance analysis report, whereby we do have the dates column, we have the cost center, we have the department, we have the cost element, we do have sorry Arun, so it's center of excellence. So we do have cost element, we do have expenses, expense categories, budget allocated year to date, budget for full year, actual amount incurred year to date. So what we want to do is we want to show the manager that what is the variance analysis. So I really need to show something to you all so that you all understand, because sometimes when you get a job in any company you work, you need to understand that every company has an accountant. So what I'm going to show to you is I'm going to show you a variance analysis report. What is variance analysis report? A variance means we need to understand what is variance. Variance means it means difference. If you can go to Google or you ask ChatGPT, the word variance means it's difference, but it is actually referring to the difference of budget versus actual. Because every company will have an accounting and finance, or some people will say finance department. So one of the division, they will deal with a task called budgeting. Some people will use the word FP&A. FP&A means is financial planning and analysis. So what this department do is they will actually prepare budget yearly, and they will also perform variance analysis monthly. Okay, they will actually prepare this report whereby they will try to actually analyze the difference between budget versus actual, whereby they perform it on monthly. So right now what you're looking at this report and how I will bring this report to the Power BI. So now let's get started. So the first thing is I'll go to my Power BI. I'm going to select import data from Excel. Let me put full screen so that you can see clearly. So I'm going to select import data from Excel. Wait, let me just put it over here. Okay. So import data from Excel. And then what happened is it will ask you which file you want to choose. So I'm going to choose a file whereby I save on 16 August. I'm going to select this file and I'm going to press open. Select this variance report 001 January 2023 and I'm going to press open. Once I press open, you will notice that a box will appear. So what you need to do is you need to tick this box. You have to tick it over here. So this is what they call the variance. So tick it over here and this is our database. Then what you do is you just press transform data. Why you press transform data? Because we want to go to Power Query. I click it over here. So automatically it will go to the Power Query editor. Okay. So like I show you, we have the date, the cost center, the department, cost element, expenses, expense category, budget allocated year to date, budget full year, and actual amount incurred. So right now what I want to do is I want to see the variance. So variance is basically like I showed to you. If you notice, variance means is your budget minus actual. Budget minus actual is variance. So what I do is I select the budget column, I select this, and then I press the control button and I select actual amount. So I select these two columns, and then what I'll do is I'll go to add column. So under add column, we have standard. So my dear friends, if you can see the icon standard over here, can you type number 3 in the chat box? So we have standard under the add column. So what I do is I will click add column standard and then I'll go to minus, or the word here is subtract, because I want to minus the budget minus actual. So I click here subtract. You will notice right now it will show me that this is the difference between budget. That means like 500,000 you minus with 583, you'll get about 83,000. So here I don't want the word here subtraction. I want to put it as variance. So we have the report over here. And then what I do is I go to home, I close and apply. So once I press close and apply, eventually what happen is it will go back to the Power BI report. All right. So of course, in this Power BI report is where I want to show to my manager what is the performance and so on. So I want to click what? I will try to click over here. There's a thing called slicer. So that I want to show the selection of the data. Click on the slicer and I will try to choose on the word called department. So I'm going to click here department. So this is the data. So when I click department, we have list of department over here. Because no matter where you work, whether you work in Reliance, whether you work on Infosys, or whether you work in Bharat Petroleum, Amazon, Apple, every company, a corporate company, a public listed company, they will have a head office. Under the head office, you will have the chairman office, you will have the accounting office, you have the HR department, IT department, all the lawyers. They will work under legal and compliance. If just say you're dealing with the purchasing product, that means like company like Coca-Cola, they have to purchase the bottles, they have to purchase some raw materials. So this is where you have the procurement department. And then we have the VP office and so on. So what I'm going to do is I don't want in this format. I want to go to format your visual over here. So my dear friends, can you type number 4 if you can see format your visual? Okay, over here we have the word here, format your visual. So I'm going to click here, format your visual. Slicer settings, I want to change into tiles. So right now we have in a tiles format. So what I'll do is I'll just put it over here. Okay, so let me just adjust this accordingly. So I'll put it here. So this is our tiles. So when I select accounting, it will become accounting. When I select chairman, it becomes chairman. We can also multi-select actually. All right, so now we have this data. Okay, we have a slicer over here. The next thing what I want to do is I want to create a cut. So over here, let me click on the white color screen. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3. The name of this visual is called cut. I click over here and let me click on budget allocated year to date. I click over here. You will notice it shows here 15 million. But my manager don't want to see the 15 million. So what you do is you go to format your visual. You go to call out value. Instead of auto, you put here none. Okay, if you see here none. None means It will not be in like in the form of like, just say if I click here thousands, it will show us the K for thousand. If just say you want millions, it will show you M. But I want the full form, so I click here none. So that means you will have the numbers over here. But if you notice carefully, if you go start working, you will normally notice that accountant or any audited report, they will have a comma. So what you do is, you can actually select over here, you click on the budget allocated, and over here we have the thousand separator. Can you see this, my friends? If you can see, can you type number 4 in the chat box? Okay, what I did was, I select this and then I click on the comma. This comma means it will try to actually change into a thousand separator. So that right now it's easy for my manager to see. Okay, another way also what you can do is, you can go to the model view over here. You click the model view. So here, like if you notice, we do have like actual amount, budget allocated, budget full year, and variance. So I select all these, I press control, and select all these. So I select all these particular columns. I go to properties panes. Over here, we have property panes. Under the property pane, we can scroll down. We can choose to make the thousand separator yes. So I just press yes here. But before I proceed, can you type number 5 if you can see properties over here? Can you see properties? So what I do is, I will go to the model view. Under model view, I select all the columns that has numbers. Go to properties. I press yes for thousand separator. So meaning to say, every time when I press yes for thousand separator, you will notice that it will actually show us the data in a thousand separated. Okay, thousand comma separated. So what I'm going to do is, let me just adjust accordingly. So I'm going to put it over here under this and adjust here. So this one is for budget allocated. I'm going to copy and paste it over here. Okay, so wait, let me just paste accordingly. Okay, so this one is budget. This one I untick. I select actual. So you see here, the budget is 14 million, 14.7 million, but the actual is 15.4 million. What is budget? Budget is what the company planned for the year. Just say you want to do a renovation in your house, or you want to buy a new car for your life. So you need to have a planning, a budget. So the same thing is, every company in this world, they will have a budget department. So the budget for the year is 14.7. The actual is 15.4. So can anybody type in the chat box, which one is greater? The budget greater or actual greater? What do you think? Which one is greater, budget or actual? You can just type in the chat box. Okay, so thank you, friends. Thank you, Parda. Thank you, Aishwarya. So if you notice carefully, the actual is greater than the budget. So sometimes for a company, they need to see why it's greater. Because, for example, you plan for your wedding or you plan for your renovation is about, just say, 20,000. But the real expenses is 30,000. So how you want to find the money? How are you going to get the money? This is where the accountants, the finance people, they have to think. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy and paste one more time. Okay, so here we have the budget, here we have actual. Here what I'll do is, I will unselect the actual, I will select variance. So what you'll see is, you'll notice that this variance over here is 700,000. It is overspent. So wait, let me just adjust accordingly. Okay, so this one I'll put it over here, and this one also I'll adjust accordingly so that it looks nice. And this one also I'll do the same, adjust accordingly. Okay, so now we have the budget, actual, and sum of variance. So maybe I don't want the word sum of. So what I'll do is, I'll go to the add data to your visual, and I'll remove this. So I'll just click over here. I remove the word sum of. I don't want sum of. I press backspace, enter. So automatically here will have budget allocated year to date. I'm going to do the same thing for sum of over here. So I'll double click and I remove the word sum of, enter. So now we have a proper word, actual amount incurred. Then after that, I click over here, I double click, and then I remove the word sum of. And there you go. So to just let you know how we can actually format the data to accounting format, we can either select over here and click on thousand separator, or we can actually go to the model view. We click on the model view. For example, when I click over here, So you click over here, so here you can change to 1000 separator, or you can actually put any format. You want to put custom also can, like for example here, you want to put whole number also can, or you want to put custom also can, it's up to you. Okay, so here so you can choose like whole number, and then we can also put custom format. Okay, why I want to choose on custom format? Because sometimes if you see here carefully, here they show negative 701. The problem is, I'll tell you what's the problem. The problem is like some accounting department. I don't know if you got see audited report. In accounting, we don't put negative 7,500. We don't put like that. In accounting, what they will do is they'll put bracket 7,500. This is how accounting finance professionals they record a number. If the value is negative, they won't put like this. They will try to put bracket 7,500. So how we can do this in Power BI? Well, what you need to do is for this one to be a bracket, you can't change here because over here we only have limited. We don't have a custom. So if they say you want to put a bracket, you go to model view, you click on this variance, you go to the format, you just choose custom. So over here we have the custom. So what I want to do is I'll just put here a semicolon, okay, bracket, and then hashtag, comma, 0, close bracket, enter. So once I press enter over here, you will notice it has changes. Okay, do you notice the difference? If you notice the difference, can you type number 6 in the chat box? Just now what happened is it has negative. Let me just say I show you. That means initially when I go to the model view, when just say I put in a whole number. Okay, so when I put in a whole number in the whole number format, what happened was, okay, why the negative has been removed? I'll show you. Just say you see here, this one is 701,235. Can you see here negative? So like Parda has typed it, why the negative removed? Because Parda in accounting department, in accounting and finance department, the negative figure, they own record negative uh, negative data in this format. Instead, they will record the negative data in this format. So Parda, do you get me? Okay, so now the intention is, because if just say you're from engineering or statistics, yeah, of course, positive, negative, mean, average, that's what you see. But accountant, we want to be the format the data accordingly. Instead of this negative, we want to put a bracket. So what we want to do is, if you want to have a bracket, you go to the model view, and then you just go here, format, you change to custom. And then over here, what you do is you just put here hashtag, comma, 0, and then after that the semicolon, hashtag, comma, 0, like that. So once you press, you will see we have a comma, and then when I go over here, you will notice got bracket. So where we go is we go to the model view. So let me paste in the chat box so that everyone can see. Okay, I paste in the chat box. So this is the format. Why we do have a semicolon? Because the semicolon is the separator. Before the semicolon, wait, let me just paste over here. Okay, so that everyone can see. So what we do is we put like that. The purpose of semicolon is to separate positive number and negative number. Positive means it will have a comma. The comma means got 1000 separator. Negative means got bracket. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll just go back to my report view. So now we have in a proper format. Next thing is what the manager will see is whether it is overspent or underspent. Okay, so let me go to my PowerPoint. Let me show you what is overspent or underspent. You see, every company has a budget. Budget is basically whatever you plan. The plan, financial data. Actual is what you really spend, what really spent or what really received and so on. Okay. So what is variance analysis? Variance analysis. The word variance means we compare budget versus actual. Variance analysis means we want to actually analyze why. And more importantly, we want to know whether it is underspent or overspent. So if just say your budget is greater than actual, it means your budget is underspent. You never spend so much. But if just say your actual is greater than the budget, it means it is overspent. That means you only plan, just say your bank balance is just say 20,000, but you had to spend 30,000. So the word is overspent. Okay. So right now, what I want to do is I will try to use a simple DAX. So what I'll do is I'll just click here on new measure. Over here, there's new measure. That means this one over here, we can click here DAX. So I'm going to click here. So once I click here, you will notice that the formula bar will appear. So I'm going to put here variance analysis, or you want to write a better simple word also can, maybe like status and so on. So what I want to do is basically if the budget is greater than actual. So if budget greater than actual, I'll put the word here is underspent. Otherwise, I'll put the word here overspent. Okay, if in a simple Excel, I can use this formula. But unfortunately, in DAX is a bit different. You see here, if you notice carefully, the budget is a numbers column. So I need to put here sum, and then I need to put here budget year to date. Okay, so if they see the budget year to date is greater than sum of actual. Okay, so if the budget is greater than actual, I'm going to put here underspent. Otherwise, it is overspent. And then what I do is I close bracket. So if you see here, what is the name of the measure? The name of the measure is variance analysis. If budget greater than actual, then it is underspent. Otherwise, it is overspent. So I'm going to press here enter. Once I press enter, we have a DAX measure called variance analysis. I'm going to copy this. And then after that, I'm going to go to the chat box and I'm going to press here, paste at this chat box over here. So this is the formula actually. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, copy and paste. Okay. Let me just adjust accordingly. Okay. Unselect this and select the variance analysis. So what we notice right now is our actual is greater than budget. So it is overspent. If they say I click accounting, overspent. I click on corporate affair and investor, it is underspent. Why underspent? Because our budget is greater than the actual. When the budget is greater than the actual, we have underspent. If they see when we click IT department, overspent. Why? Our actual is greater than the budget. So my dear friends, can you see the pattern? If you can see the pattern, can you type number 7 in the chat box? Meaning to say why I click variance analysis is to determine whether the department is overspent or underspent. So if they say I click on legal, overspent. When I click on HR department, underspent. So this is how the managers can see whether the department is overspent or underspent. All right. So let me just clear filter. So now we have a slicer. We have all the simple visual that the boss can see the big picture. They can see, okay, which one is budget? What is the budget? What is the actual? What is the variance? Next, what I want to do is I want to create a table. So I can just click over here, or what I can do is I can straight away click expense category. Automatically, it will pop out like a table. So let me just adjust this and let me just adjust accordingly. Okay, so now this is expenses. And then what I'll do is I will try to tick on the budget allocated. So now this is your budget and I'll tick on the actual. Okay, so you'll notice carefully, this is your actual and I'll tick on the variance and I'll tick on the variance analysis. So from here, we can see the details, whether it's overspent, like for example, chairman office, we can see some of it is underspent, some of it is overspent. And then if they say you don't want the word sum of, what you can do is you can go to click on this visual over here, just double click, you remove the word sum of. Over here, so you double click, remove the word sum of. And then you can do the same. You double click, remove the word sum of. So now it looks better. And if just say you want to fill the size because it looks very small, okay, even though you expand, it looks small, don't worry, you can expand the size. What you can do is you can go to format your visual. go to the values, you can increase the size. So you can increase, now it looks bigger, okay, bigger and better. You can increase the size like this. If you want to increase the header, column header, you can increase accordingly, like this. Okay, so you can increase accordingly. So now we have the data. So over here, there you go. All right. So this is the data. We have expense category, we have budget, we have actual, we have variance, we have variance analysis. But right now, what I want to do is I want to actually create a Gantt chart, a gauge. Sorry, I want to create a gauge so that to see whether it's overspent or underspent. So what I'm going to do is I want to show the utilization rate. Utilization rate means, okay, this one now you understand what is variance analysis. The next thing I want to show you is utilization. Utilization is basically the answer is in the form of percentage. Basically, the actual year to date means like January until August, divide actual year to date, divide what? Divide the budget full year. So whether we want to know whether the how many percent has been utilized. And we also compare actual year to date divide with budget year to date. Year to date means it's just say like accumulated from January, February, and so on. So now I want to find the utilization. So what I'll do is I'll click the new measure one more time. Okay. And I want to type here utilization. And this one is year to date. Okay. I'm going to type here year to date. And it's in the form of percentage. Okay. Utilization year to date. So what is the formula is? I'm going to put here sum of your actual divided by slash sum and divided with your budget full year. Close bracket, enter. So just like that. So now actual divided by budget full year, that is your utilization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the gauge. Okay. So this gauge over here. And then what I'm going to do next is I want to click on the utilization year to date. So year to date, you see like this. You click over here and you change to percentage. So what we can understand is for the full year, sorry, maybe I need to rename this. So this one is utilization full year, not year to date. For full year, the department only spend about 8% or 9% of the budget. But if we look overall is about 8% only. That means their budget is 100%. So how much of the budget has been utilized? Because when we plan for a company, every time they will plan for the budget every year. So you just see when I click human resource department, we can see what is their budget, how much has been utilized. So from 1 year, for 1 month, they spend 8%. So 1 month is 8%. 1 year got 12 months. So 12 times 8 is about 96%. So almost 100%. So this is how they really see whether you utilize the budget and so on. So this is very important in FNPA department. So I'm going to copy and going to paste it over here. Then I'll create a new measure. So this one, I'll name it as utilization year to date, and I'll put here percentage. So the same thing, sum actual divided with your sum, which is budget full year. Close bracket, enter. So now we have the actual versus budget for year to date, sorry. Budget year to date. Okay. So this one over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unselect this and select this. So we notice it's also 1 because our budget is greater than the actual is greater than the budget. So I click over here, I select the percentage, and just like that, we notice that it's almost 100%. But if just say I clear, we notice that the budget exceeded. Okay, so this is how we can read the numbers actually. So right now we have a slicer, we do have the cuts, we have a table, we have the utilization. The next thing what I want to do is I want to create a cut. Okay, I want to create a cut. I want to create a title. What is budget year to date? Okay, I'll show you. Okay, good question, Aishwarya. So we have actual year to D. We have budget year to D. What is year to D? Year to date. What is year to YTD? Year to date. That means this one, as you can see over here, this report is as of January. So year to date means it will also accumulate January and February. Okay, it's not by month, it's accumulated. Year to date means it incorporates January and February. So to understand your question, Aishwarya, I'll show you later. Now we have is January. I'll show you what happened for February. Okay, I'll answer your question in a while, Aishwarya. So right now what I want to do is I want to create a title here. My title is Variance Analysis as of January 2023. So what I'll do is I'll go to this table view. Here we have the date column. So I'm going to click over here, a new column. Okay, so new column, so that we have a new column on the right hand side. So I want to put here as a period. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to here format. Okay, so we have a date column. Okay, so if you just say we have a date, it will be great. Okay, let me see. So here is the date column, and then then comma. We want to put in the format of MMM. That means it's a short form of month, and then YYY. Okay, and then close bracket, enter. So what happened is now this is the format, January 2023. So what I'm going to do is I just want to go to the report view. I click on new measure. So what I'll do is this one, the name is title. Okay, so title, I'll put here variance analysis as of, okay, and I put here selected value. Selected value is one measure to show the title or to show the slicer selection, and our name is going to be as the period, and then close bracket, enter. Okay, so you might be wondering what is this measure. Later I'll show you. So when I click on this card over here and I click on this title, okay, our title is over here. So this is variance analysis as of January 2023. So let me just go and adjust. Okay, so we can adjust accordingly. This one, we can remove the title over here. So now we have this title. So this is the title, this is the slicer, this is the cuts. Okay, so what if just say, I'm going to answer Aishwarya's question. What if just say we have the next month? This month is January. I want to convert this to the next month. So what you need to do is, for example, over here, let me just go to my report. Okay, for example, in day one, I'm going to copy all this. So we have February and March. So let me just copy this and paste in my 16 August report. Okay, so let me just go here and paste it over here. So just now, what I did was I took the data from January. What if we have March, we have February, the subsequent ones? So what we can do is, we go to this arrow over here. So my dear friends, can you type number 8? If you can see this arrow over here, transform data arrow. So what we want to do is, we want to change the source. Because initially, this report is January. So what happens if just say I select next month? So I click this arrow, I go to data source settings. This is where we can change the source. Click over here, a box will appear. So we select January, right? So I'm going to click on change source. A box will appear. I click browse. So this one is January. I select February. I press open. I press OK. This is February. Press close. Automatically, you have this red color thing. There are pending changes in your query. So you click here, apply changes. When you press apply changes, automatically you will notice that year will change to February. Does it change to February? If it change, can you type number 9 in the chat box? Okay, so now if you notice, Aishwarya asks in the chat box, what is budget YTD? Budget YTD means, you see here, just now was about 8%, 9%. Now it is accumulated 16%. February 2023. Okay, when it the word year to date, what is year to date? You see here, the keyword is as of February 2023. So the word year to date means it accumulates January and February data. It accumulates. That means it's not specifically for the month of February only. It means it has January and February. So if just say we have, instead of select multiple price one, can we include in folder? Yes. This one is when your data, okay, the Sachit Bansal asks a very good question. If just say your file you want to accumulate, if you want to accumulate your data, then you can actually select from the folder. But however, Sachin Bansal, if you notice over here, yes, for accumulating through a folder, we can click refresh over here. or sometimes for live data, it will automatically refresh. But now you have to understand this report is a year-to-date report. It is not by month report. Do you understand, Sachit Mansal? Like for example, I click here March. When I click March, this is not specifically for the month of March. This is year-to-date. Year-to-date means January, February, and March. This is where we need to use the data source to change. So every time, whenever there's a new month, so you don't have to redo all this. You can go to this arrow box over here and you click data source. But what if they say you accidentally press this? You accidentally press this. You don't worry. When you accidentally press this, you will go to Power Query. Under Power Query, we have data source settings. You click it over here, a box will appear. You click change source, you click browse, and then what you do is, just now February, now you select March, and then you press open. So you press OK. So now it becomes March. You press close, and then you press close and apply. Once you press close and apply, eventually you will notice it will change to March. So to answer your question, Sachin, it is year-to-date data, so you need to do change source. To answer your question, Aishwarya, what is year-to-date? Year-to-date means just now was 9%, then 16%, then 24%. What does it mean? That means this one is from January to March data. Do you understand, Aishwarya? You can type yes if I did explain to you. You understand? By the way, others, do you understand? Okay, so of course the coloring, you can change the color later. I don't focus much on the coloring, but this is to show you a portfolio report on what is variance analysis. Variance analysis means you're comparing the budget and the actual. Okay, so this is just a one-page report. Okay, I'll just show you because last time my previous job, okay, previously I got work as a budget executive. So when I work as a budget executive, yes, if just say you have a separate file, you can do that. To answer your question, yes, if just say separate file, you can do that, Aishwarya. That means, in this case, if you remember, initially I select Excel workbook. But to answer Sachin Bansal's question, you will not select from Excel workbook. Instead, you will select from more, and then you will try to select from a folder. So folder, you put all the files in the folder, and then once you have like January file, February file, you just press refresh. Okay, just say for example over here, because different jobs, it depends on the job scope actually. So let me just go here, just say I have Power BI day 2. Where is it? Okay, so this one here, so this one, if you notice, we have monthly report. So every time we can just do what? We can put all the files over the clips. It will consolidate. Okay, like what Sachin's question, if your report is monthly, you can consolidate. If your report is year to date, you just need to change source. That's all. Okay, so yep. Any questions? Do you have any questions? So by the way, just to share with you what I will cover tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow also I'll be teaching you all. But tomorrow, I'll teach you a very complex topic, which is an investment bank. For example, over here, let me click here. So for example, here we have a data. Maybe let me show the Indian companies so that you can digest, you can connect with you. Okay, so I'll answer your question in a while. So, and also if subsequent months, don't know how to consolidate it. Okay, so Sachin has a question. If just say your data is not properly managed, how to consolidate it? Okay, so I'll answer that question, Sachin. So tomorrow's class, what we will do is, today what we cover? Today we actually cover on variance analysis. Variance analysis means we have the date column, we have the departments, we have the expenses, we compare budget versus actual. That is what we focus on today's COE pro bono session. Tomorrow, what we will do is we will focus on a investment data, whereby you see what is investment data. Let me just write down the notes. I'll answer your question, Sachin, in a while. Just give me a moment. Okay, so tomorrow one is investment banking. Okay, what is investment banking? You see here, my dear friends, tomorrow is what I'll teach you is investment banking. What they do is just say you work as a fund manager. Okay, what is fund manager? Manage the fund of the clients. Okay, what is investment? For example, your client is ABC Corporation. This client, they give you money. Maybe they give you, I put here, US dollar 10K. They give you money so that they get better returns. Okay, like index fund, all those things. So they give you 10K to get better return. Maybe in return, they want to get the dividend, or the better return means maybe they invest 10K. In return, they want to get, just say, USD 30K, for example. Okay. So as a fund manager, you will use the 10K and invest to get better returns. But sometimes if your investment decision is wrong, you'll get lost returns. Okay. So what you see here, you are the fund manager. So for tomorrow discussion, you have the fund manager. So you will have all these managers, employee name, and the management team. So basically, the managers want to know which team is performing well, because sometimes they will have the red group, blue group, depends, different group, because in one group itself, they will have an investment research report, they will have a fixed income report, and so on. Then we have the client. Okay, so this is all the clients, because the client sometimes they will have a quarter meetup with you or monthly meetup with you. And this is the state. Tomorrow I'll just change the stage into according to India Nice. This is the states in Malaysia. And this is the transaction. Transaction means we have a company, that means which company we invest. We invest in this company, we purchase about 6,000 shares. 6,000 shares we prepare, but what is the share price? We have the share price over here. That means all the company from January up to December, up to July 2025, we have all the share price. So we want to actually purchase, because the purpose of fund manager is they get return. That means whatever the client give money, they try to make return. And here we have the financial performance. So here we have like the revenue, the operating profit, net profit, and so on. Okay. So I'll answer Sachit Bansal question. Okay. So Sachit Bansal question, your question is, what if just say the data is not organized? Let me show you here. Okay. What if just say the data is not organized? So the data not organized, this is where you will use Power Query. Okay, Power Query, for example, let me start with here. Sometimes, if you see here, if you import to Power BI, you will also have this column. So we will use Power Query to clean the data. Number one. Number two is, if just say you have additional columns, additional rows, we can clean the data. So there are so many cases, because like you see here, sometimes our manager, what they want to do is they want to extract the data from Excel file, or even can be a PDF, okay, or Google Sheet. But the data is not clean. Clean means it's not structured. We will use Power Query to clean the data first. So to answer your question, Sachit Bansal, what if just say your report is not clean? That means you want to consolidate, but you need to clean first. So what we will do is we will use Power Query to clean the data. Once we use Power Query to clean the data, then only we can load the data and eventually refresh. So Sachin, did I answer your question? Because there are so many types. Like for example, like this case, the data is not so clean because we have a blank space. Over here, if you notice, we have the report. Yeah. So this one is also not so clean, Sachin, because your manager, they want to actually accumulate. So there are so many cases. I'll show you another report. Okay, wait, let me show you so that you can actually digest this. Like for example, here, Aishwarya, are you there? You can type yes if you are there. Okay, so just to let you know, my dear friends, sometimes the case study that we get is not in a proper raw data. What is a proper structured data? A structured data is something like this, whereby you have in a table format. From here only you can bring to pivot table, to Power BI, and so on. But what if just say your data is in this format? So one of a particular client, her report is she need to consolidate. This one is 1st June 2025. This is 2nd June 2025. So what she need to do is she need to consolidate the 30 days, because in June, like you see here, this is 1st June, this is 2nd June. In June, we have about 30 days. So the manager wants her to consolidate 30 days report. So what happen is, if just say I do here, I put here equal, okay, this one is total sales. So I select this G12 plus with 1st June. 1st June total sales. I select over here and I select here. So if you notice what I'm doing is, I'm doing one by one monthly. I'm actually manually plussing. That is not the correct way. What you need to do is you use Power Query to actually clean the data. So this one probably will be next week class. But tomorrow, we will try to focus this, whereby we want to see the fund manager. Okay, I'll just give you some insights actually. Wait, let me just show you so that you can digest 12th June. Is it over here? No, it's not here. Wait, let me just show you so that you can see some insights. Let me go to file and let me click on, let me just click over here so that you can understand the report. How does it looks like? Okay, so tomorrow's class, we will focus on first cleaning the data because we need to clean the data. The data is not clean. Okay, we need to clean the data first. And then after that, what I'm going to show you is, wait, it's taking some time. Okay, so now, for example, over here, wait, I think not this report. I think it's a different report. Okay, I'll just show you. If I have the file, I don't know where I save, but let me just go one more time so that everyone can see what is the file is all about. I think I opened this file. Let us see. So it'll take some time and it will show you eventually. So tomorrow's class, you can see the investment data. Yeah, there you go. So this is the report actually. So for example, we have Jesse, you are from India. Okay, so let me just clear here and let me just put for India. India is here and we have India. Maybe I put, wait, let me just click India. And let me just click company. Like for example, India, we have a lot of companies. So I put here HDFC. So what we'll see is we see the data from Indian companies. So this is the data and so on. Okay. So we can just change. Okay. So of course, eventually it will work because we have created a connection over here. So wait, let me just create a connection. So this is model view. So I'm going to click here a connection, click it over here, company code. Yep. There you go. So many to many relationship and then it will work. This one also same thing, company code. So yeah, it will change accordingly. Okay, so just say Axis Bank, Bajaj, and so on. So tomorrow we'll focus this, but the intention is sometimes the company want to know about the report. Like for example, here, can you see this report? If you can see this, can you type number 8 in the chat box? Okay, so for example, what happened is sometimes the fund manager, the HOD, head of department, they want to see which department is performing well. So for example, when we look at one guard is performing well because they are getting good returns. Whatever they do for the client, they get about 5 million returns. But if we look at Orient department, see, Orient is loss making. Maybe let me just click over here, make it bigger so that everyone can see the size. Okay, so this one also I go to the column header and I click here 20. So if you look here carefully, my dear friends, so this is a department. Wait, let me just adjust this. Okay, so Orient is actually a loss-making group because what they happen is for Orient, we notice that some of the employees they are getting a negative return. If you look overall, of course, we have good employees, but there are certain employees are making loss for the client. Okay, because client, what they expect is dividend, they expect good returns. For example, you work in a company, you have a lot of money. So you want to make more money. So what you do is you give that money, you deposit that money to the bank. The fund manager will do what? They will use that money and then they will invest in a particular stocks or particular fixed income. Fixed income means bonds and so on, so that the client can get better return. So for Orient, they are making a negative return. So apparently, because of such employees, they are giving negative returns. And not only that, we can actually see which client is facing losses. So for example, over here, I remove the fund manager. I want to put here maybe the client customer. So from here, what we can understand is which customer got returns. Okay, wait, let me just put here and adjust. So there are some clients are losing money. Like Miles PLS, they are losing money. Okay, so we can see which particular fund manager that handles Marcias. So when I click Marcias, apparently we notice, okay, so this group is handling Marcias. We can understand that. And who is making more losses? OneGuard is making more losses for Marcias, Marcias group. So this is actually how you can actually understand which fund manager is responsible, because when you work in the bank, your priority is to get better returns for your customer, for your client actually. That's a better word. Okay, so far any questions, my friends? If you have any questions, you can ask. Because Power BI is not only limited to the visuals. If you want to talk about visual, that is not Power BI only. Yes, Power BI, that is where your manager will see the visual. But we have model view. This is basically model view to see the relationship between other tables. In a real working world, there will be sometimes 10 different tables, because one table dedicated for sales, table dedicated for operating expenses, one table dedicated for staff costs, and so on. But here we have one for transaction, one for employees, one for the client, share price, and details, and so on. So you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we will see you when I see you. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Yep. So for any questions? No questions? Then maybe we can finish earlier. Maybe I can pass the floor to Arun, sir.
Um, Thank you, Ellen. Thanks a lot. We'll all join you tomorrow for the next session. It is very practical, very insightful.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys.